I would like to really talk about that too. You end up winning the World Championships in 2015, but kind of backing up a year or so before then. When did you really feel like you were start coming on? Because I remember you won that race, and then like you had some really good seasons. I mean, really to end your career. I mean, you were always at the top. It seemed like.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, 14 was kind of the start of what was heading in a good direction. I think that last race there at Wyawega, we ran well that weekend, ending the year, ended on kind of a positive. And then in 15, the year started out good at Ironwood. I don't think we went to Beausejour that year, so it was good at Ironwood, and then headed to Eagle River. So, the whole weekend went good. It was a wild ride, WC weekend from, basically the time we got there. We felt like we had a good sled, and was able to bring it home. Obviously had kind of an interesting start to, us being in the back row and working our way through traffic, and then ultimately winning the WC there.
Sure. So you came from the back row that year. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, you were announcing.
I know. I was. I remember that. The memory came up on Facebook the other day, but yeah, no, I didn't remember you coming from the back row. I just didn't have that.
Yeah. So what happened? A little backstory on it. There we had, I think it was Friday morning. So we ran Friday night. We were pretty decent Friday night. Happy with where we're at. I think we qualified decent. We knew we needed a little bit more to have a chance at winning it there. And we had a new set of pipes, and we wanted to try those out, new wrap, everything. We went out there in hot laps Friday morning, and man, it was blistering fast, Friday morning, and we come in off the track, and they ended up catching on fire. And I mean, there's flames, that high coming off the top of it.
No
when
kidding.
we pulled the hood off and kind of melted a bunch of wires, and we knew that they were new pipes and they were good, and the data looked good, and we were a little gun shy heading into Friday nights. We're like, well, we can't run those pipes. Put the old pipes on. In the meantime, we were, I don't know, trying to get creative. We were out there with the blowtorch trying to melt these pipes in to get all the glue, and how we did it, glue
Sure.
off them so they didn't flame up, but we didn't feel like we could chance it. I mean, I wasn't going to burn the whole sled down, over a set of pipes. And Friday night, like I said, ran good, but knew we didn't have a shot to win. Went into Saturday. How did that go? Yeah, went into Saturday. First qualifier went good. Second qualifier, which is the final one, off the start, I kind of hole-shotted. And Eagle River's kind of unique that, they have more ice on the outside, a little less on the inside, because it sort of almost kind of tails off. Well,
Okay.
where I lined up wasn't a great spot, and it kind of hole-shotted, and it pulled right and ended up crashing going into turn one, so we didn't even make the front row.
Okay.
So then we Sunday morning, we went and went to the test track there. Tommy helped us out with, and went and tested, got those pipes out there, wanted to break them in some more. They ran good. We worked on some things, got it better, went into the LCQ, and ended up advancing through the LCQ to start in the back row for the WC. So, like I said, kind of a eventful weekend, but I'll never forget those pipes catching on fire, and me and my crew guy Robert there, our eyes were as big as saucers, like, now what do we do? And
Yeah.
the guy's like, well, should I dump snow on? Well, yeah, I mean, I what else are you gonna
Right.
do? And just petrified, because in the moment you're never not expecting a snowmobile to catch on fire. I mean, that's
Right.
kind of not common, I guess. So
Yeah.
definitely eventful, and it's added to the memory.
And having to start in the back row, how much more of an element does that add to trying to get out front? I mean, obviously you're starting some lengths back, but
Yeah, I would say one thing I know out of all the WCs going into that one, it was the least amount of stress I had, because I knew I could only go, I couldn't go any further back.
Sure.
As worse could be at that point.
up from here, yeah.
And maybe that helped a little bit. Like I said, I didn't have quite the stress. I think anybody that's done Eagle River in the WC knows that there's just a unique, stress and feeling that you get, heading into the weekend. Everybody can talk tough and say, I'm not nervous, it's just another race. kind of hard to say with 100% honesty
Yeah.
that, you don't have some sort of butterflies or feeling knowing that it's the biggest race of the year. It's the one that
Oh yeah.
everybody's, chasing. So like I said, my stress level was definitely down. I was comfortable. And the other piece of it is we'd been at the test track that morning. We ran the LCQ. We didn't have time to hardly think about anything else. We had to get a sealed jug of gas. We were busy running around trying to find that. It
Yeah.
was just a fire drill to even make it up to the starting grid on time, I felt like. So I didn't have much of an opportunity to overthink it at that point.
Sure. Sure. And another thing, I mean, I guess I should remember, but did they have a break that year, or was it 25 straight?
Yeah, no, that was kind of newer at that time, but I don't know if it might have been like the second or third year that they did it, but
Okay.
it was 10 laps, 10-minute break where you could do gas, lube, any adjustments to the sled that you needed, and then another 20 laps. So it was 30 laps
Okay.
total. So we got a good go there the first 10 laps. I think I got up to third. And we made some small changes, nothing, obviously happy where I was at, surprised at where I was at. And then on the restart, I think I fell back to fourth and then got back to third and slowly started catching Matt Schultz and Malcolm Chartier. And then a caution came out with 7 to go. And then I had a great restart there with 7 to go, was able to get by both Matt and Malcolm. I kind of opened up a little bit of a gap, and then my belt started slipping. I could hear it in the corners slipping, and I always, watch back the video. The one time you could see me shaking my head because all I could think is it's over. It's gonna blow it. Any minute, because I knew it was happening. And Malcolm got back to me and almost inside of us, and then. On that white flag lap, then I was able to gap him a little bit and ended up winning it. So I got the primary clutch and the belt saved with the trophy because there's cords on the belt coming out.
No kidding, that's cool.
Primary clutch was cracked, and
really,
so kind of a keepsake, and like I said, just added to the whole weekend that everything that could went wrong did, and then in full circle, was able to still have the luck that ended up getting essentially my second pro champ win was the WC.
Sure.
So
Okay.
special there.